How to get started in the world of investing, Part 1. So let's assume you're interested in learning more about investing. You may have some money stashed away. The money isn't enough for a home, but you think I should put it to good use by investing it? Investing in Tesla 10 years ago would have made you a millionaire today, or something like that if you've seen it on the news. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the investing process if you're a novice. In other words, how exactly do you acquire a stock? What is a stock? Anyway, is it as simple as going to Tesla.com and purchasing a Tesla? To further complicate things, there are all kinds of acronyms such as Roth, 401k, ISA, LISA, etc. that are tossed around when you attempt to find out more about this. Additionally, we fear losing all our money since we know that investments may be dangerous. As a result of all of this is the most comprehensive instruction on beginning investing. You should have seen that when you started in the stock market, and we'll do this by breaking down the investment process into a series of 10 bite-sized pieces. In the long run, what happens to my money? The first is to entirely disregard the idea of investing and instead consider what will happen to my money in the long run. In addition, if you've ever taken a course in economics, you're aware that capital depreciates with time because of a phenomenon is known as inflation. As a rule of thumb, inflation is between 2% and 2%. In other words, the cost of goods increases by around 2% per year. In 1970, a cup of coffee in the United States cost 25 cents. Even if you bought the same cup of coffee in 2019, you'd have to pay $1.59. Inflation is clearly on display here. For the sake of argument, assume that you now possess a sum of £1,000. For the following 10 years, you may keep it beneath your bed. Your £1,000 will no longer be worth £1,000 after 10 years, since the cost of living has climbed at 2% or so per year. So your money's worth will have decreased. You'll lose money if you keep £1,000 beneath your mattress for a decade. Also, this is a bad thing. In today's world, even if you put your money in a savings account and earn just 0.2% interest, your money will appreciate by 0.2% annually. However, due to a 2% increase in inflation, you will continue to lose money over time. In addition, this is a bad thing to do. Prevent your money from depreciating. That raises the second most important issue. How can we keep our money from depreciating? The response is that an interest rate of 2.5% on a hypothetical savings account would equal inflation. Inflation is defined as a 2.5% increase in the cost of everything. However, our savings account gains 2.5% annually. As a result, we're not losing money in the long run. If you're reading this and uncomfortable with the term interest, don't worry, we'll get to it later. Investment is not the same as interest. However, it is essential to note that our goal here isn't just to avoid a loss of capital, as is the case with our 2.5% rate. Making money is our goal. What do I do to earn money? Third, how do we earn money? Let's revisit our imaginary savings account. We'll never have a savings account with a 10% interest rate since it's too high. We'd make 10% of our savings every year if it did. Putting £100 in a savings account today would be worth 110 next year. The following year, it will be 121 since it's 10% of 110. And then 130. In 10 years, my £100 would be £259. Our money will be worth £206 in the 10 years when adjusted for inflation. We've quadrupled our money in a hypothetical 10% savings account. And 10% seems like a little amount of money, so it seems unlikely. Extrapolating 10% over 10 years doubles your money, which is excellent. These hypothetical 10% savings accounts don't exist since they're too high, and life isn't that great. Most UK savings accounts give less than 1% interest, which means you're losing money over time. But we have alternative methods to reach this mythical 10% savings nirvana. Investing helps. What is an investment? What is an investment? An investment makes you money. Consider buying a £100,000 property to rent out. Two-way investment. It's profitable in two ways. First, assume you charge your tenants rent. You charge £830 each month. That's £10,000 a year. You make £10,000 a year in rent, or 10% of what you bought for the house. If you make $10,000 a year, you'll have paid off the £100,000 in 10 years. Every year you make £10,000 in profit. So that's not too bad at all. The house's worth will likely improve over time, making it an investment. Most wealthy nations see long-term property price increases. In 10 years, your home may be worth over £100,000. Some say UK housing prices increased every 10 years in the past. Your home may be valued at about £200,000. You've gained money through rental income and capital gains when an asset appreciates. Buying a property is annoying. You will need a large sum of cash to make a deposit. You're going to need to apply for a mortgage. Real estate ownership is required. You just contacted the management company that handled rentals, rented it to individuals, and did other similar things. If only there was a method to invest without A, starting with a lot of money, and B, managing assets so much. Then comes stock investment. What exactly is a share? How do shares function? Buying shares is probably the closest to a magical savings account that yields money every year. When you acquire a share, you buy a portion of the firm. Let's imagine Apple had a prosperous year because many people bought iPads based on my suggestions, and they decided to give a dividend to their shareholders. So, they may pay £1 million dividend, which they would share equally among Apple shareholders, depending on how many shares they own. If you own 1% of Apple, you will receive 1% of their dividend. A corporation issues a dividend to redistribute earnings to investors. Dividends generate income. Second, you obtain capital gains through time, as with residences. Say you acquired 10 Apple shares in 2010 at $9 a piece. Buy 10 Apple shares for $90. Apple shares cost $115 in 2020. If you purchased $90 for 10 shares 10 years ago, they're now worth $1,150. We've discussed shares and how to profit from them. You may be wondering how much money you need to start or how dangerous owning share is. We'll get there. I hope you liked and learned something from today's video. If you want to keep improving and being inspired, subscribe and press the bell button to be alerted whenever we upload a video. This has been Market Profits Institute.